Hi, I'm Scott Rosignol, here to talk to you today about clinical data exchange, which is commonly referred to as CDex through the eHealth exchange. CDex enables clinical data exchange between providers and payers for attachments for claims, prior authorization, documentation quality programs, and risk adjustment. eHealth Exchange is a network of networks that connects healthcare providers, regional and state HIEs, public health authorities, payers, and federal agencies to exchange medical data and improve patient care and public health. eHealth Exchange acts as a network intermediary to connect with and retrieve data from participants within the eHealth Exchange network. CDex provides a simpler API to get you the data you need. All a requester needs to do is create and submit a task resource using FHIR. Then they'll monitor the status of that resource and retrieve the FHIR data that's provided within that resource using a process called polling. Here's a drill down into the task resource itself. The elements are detailed on the left-hand side in the table. Let's look at a couple of those. The intent element helps us understand why the task is being used. The output array is an array of FHIR resources that have been retrieved by the eHealth Exchange on behalf of you as a result of the task. Here's a quick example of a specific use case using a third party, such as an HIE. A payer receives an ADT feed from the provider via an HIE. When they're notified of a patient's discharge from an inpatient encounter or the completion of an outpatient encounter, they may wait a few days and then query for the FHIR data related to that encounter using CDex task-based approach. Let's review the major steps here. First, the payer shares its member roster with an HIE. The provider is then notifying the HIE of an inpatient or outpatient stay. The HIE subsequently notifies the payer. In step 5, a member verification interlock ensures that the payer is only requesting patients who are attributed to them on the roster that they've submitted to the HIE. Steps 6 and 7 include the data retrieval process by eHealth Exchange, managing the pagination process and the reference chasing, in addition to the FHIR queries themselves. Let's take a quick look at Postman to see how this all works in practice. What we're seeing here is a task record. This task record is leveraged by the eHealth Exchange to determine a lot of information about the request process. First, we have the member ID, the patient's actual identifier as assigned by the payer. We have additional information identifying who the requester and responder are in the requester and owner fields. We have the input fields then that show the URLs that will actually be executed as FHIR queries. In this instance, we don't have an output array yet. Let's see how that works. I'm going to send that task, and I've received back a response. You can see here the task has a response with a status of accepted. Next, I'm going to actually start polling the URL that is indicated by the ID of this request. So the FHIR resource itself has an identifier associated, and we can query that identifier directly. So by polling that task resource, I now see the status is completed. What that means is that I now have an output array that includes different FHIR resource URLs that link me to the actual data retrieved. Here's a condition URL. If I query that condition URL, you'll actually see the condition data returned in an ND-JSON format. Okay, let's jump back quickly to our PowerPoint here. Without eHealth Exchange, each connection to a new partner requires tens of hours of setup and contract discussions. Retrieving many resources per patient, multiple pages for different resources, and then dealing with request dependencies can be challenging and expensive for any organization. The eHealth Exchange provides a simpler way to connect with your trading partners and retrieve the data you need. In fact, eHealth Exchange summarizes or combines the resources and gets all that pagination done for you so you get a single payload with all the data that you need. If you're interested in learning more, please contact us at administrator@ehealthexchange.org. Thanks.